Yo, it's your boy Marcus, aka Just One Marcus on the Just One channel. The Spurs are a very young team, and I would say right now they're in full rebuild mode. If we look at their team card here, you can see that their average age is 24 years old, so that is insanely young. Jakob is probably getting traded this offseason as well, so that's going to bring our team age down even more. The Spurs franchise has a good history of being very professional and very good, like from the Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Ginobili days. Even before that, also somewhat recently with Kawhi. So I feel like if we can develop these young pieces and a little bit more through the draft to become a competitive team in the playoffs, star players or future star players will want to sign here. But off rip, what I usually don't like playing with the shot tendency, but Devin Vassell this season is averaging like almost 20 points a game, and Keldon Johnson is averaging 21. So these shot tendencies for them are just way too low. I'm gonna bring Keldon Johnson's up to like an 85 and Devin Vassell up to an 80. So that should be kind of more realistic to what they're actually doing this season. Even Jakob is at 55 and he's averaging 12 points a game. So I'm going to get him actually up to a 65. So that right there looks a lot better. The Spurs are currently the fourth worst team in the league. You can see their record in the bottom left there, 12-24. They play against the Nets tonight at 7:30. I'm going to highly think that the Nets are going to beat the Spurs, so I'm just gonna force win this game for the Nets, and we're gonna sim one day forward so that we have a loss there, which is probably what's gonna happen tonight. So now we can start this rebuild looking to the future. For the lineup on this first year, I'm honestly gonna run a 12-man rotation all the way through the first year and put 100 utilization for the bench so that all the minutes are separated equally. And the only thing is, the guys that I wouldn't really want to play, probably Gorgie Jang, I'd swap out for one of these young guys like Malachi Branham, just because he's our rookie and I want to see him getting some play to see if he can progress into a decent player. Sochan, I'd probably want to give him a couple more minutes, so maybe bring Doug McDermott down too and bring him, or maybe put both these guys at 15. I'll put you there, and then I'll give one more minute to Devin Vassell. Take some minutes away from these bench guys too, actually, because I don't really care for them playing that much. I want Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson to both be progressing a lot. So let's see if we can kind of give them both 30 each, and then we'll give Trey Jones one more minute. Also, actually, to up Pirtle's trade value, I'm gonna bring Zach Collins down by like 3 more minutes. Actually, I'll get him at 15 too and give the rest of those minutes to Pirtle. So yeah, this will be the lineup for this first season. Everyone is in our rotation, not even rotation, everyone on the roster is pretty much getting minutes to see what talent we can find on this Spurs team. So let's sim to the trade deadline and potentially look for a Jakob Pirtle trade. All right, so in real life, the Raptors are, I think, the 13th seed now, but they're a team that always likes to be competitive, and right now they're in need of a solid center, which they don't really have, with Pascal being more of like a forward type of player. In this game, they're the 11th seed, so they're one game out of the play-in to compete there. What I want to do is try to trade Jakob Pirtle for a first. I would take Thad Young's contract to make the deal work, and then just throw in these fillers to try to make everything else work with that first round pick, because 2K probably wouldn't allow it. As in the game, Jakob's not really valued by them that much, but in real life, he is a high player on the Raptors' possible trade lists for the deadline. So let's see if they agree to this, and they do not. So another potential trade possibility I think could happen in real life is maybe Jakob going to the Mavericks for some future first round picks. Davis Bertans really isn't doing much for them this season. Like he plays a couple minutes a game and makes a couple threes, but he's really a big liability on defense and makes way too much money for what he does. They also don't have like a solidified center. In real life, they have Christian Wood coming off the bench, so in this case they could put Jakob Pirtle as like a solid 5 to have there, and then maybe even bring Christian Wood in to play power forward in that starting lineup. I'd also give them Zach Collins, who's shooting well from 3 and shooting well overall in general, who could kind of be like what Davis Bertans is doing, but just a bit better and on a cheaper deal. So let's see if they agree to this, and they do. So we trade Jakob Pirtle to the Mavericks for 2 first-round picks. So that is going to be all we do for this trade deadline on the first year. I was looking at some potential Doug McDermott trades, but couldn't really find anything I liked. So we're just gonna still like run everyone and give them a lot of minutes. In this case, I am gonna swap out Davis Bertans' minutes for Malachi Branham, because I'm honestly just gonna let Davis Bertans' contract run out off my bench as he's not getting any minutes. So yeah, I'm just gonna adjust this to a bit to get Vassell and Keldon Johnson up to 30 a night as well, and then we will sim to the rest of the season. Season is wrapped. Who else other than Luka to be MVP? Paulo, always rookie of the year. Jordan Poole, 6-man. Giannis, Depoy. Trey Murphy, most improved, and Doc Rivers, coach of the year. Here's your All-NBA first, All-NBA second, with Shea and Trey getting on there. All-NBA third, and Sabonis makes All-NBA third, which is surprising. And here's your All-Defensive first, All-Defensive second, and your All-Rookie teams right here. And I do not see that we got anyone there, so we should not be in the play-in. We are not. I think we ended up with like 17 or 18 games. So we'll see exactly where we're at there at the bottom. 22 games actually is what we won. So that's one. Oh, well, we're the worst. We're by far the worst team in the league. So that definitely helps us out for these Wemby sweepstakes. Even though I just got Wembanyama in my Charlotte rebuild, he could end up on the Spurs as well. But if not, I'd be happy to take Scoot. Here's the stats for the season. Keldon Johnson still put up around 21 a night on pretty good shooting. Devin Vassell, 18 a game. He'd probably be closer to here if I didn't change his shot tendency, but this is closer to what he's doing in real life. Here's Trey Jones, who maybe he can stay around as a backup for me throughout this video. Doug McDermott's a really good three-point shooter, so he'll be off. He'll have one more season left on his deal after this year. I could probably move him for maybe a first in the offseason. Josh Richardson, probably another guy I'm just going to wait for his contract to play out. And here's my young guys with Malachi Branham. Wake Wesley shot insane. Oh my god. Jeremy Sohan played pretty good, or So-Chan, however you want to say it. Here's Isaiah Roby's stats. Hopefully he can get up to this season here instead of what he's doing right now. And Keita Bates-Diop, these guys down here we don't really care much for. And yeah, let's sim these 2023 playoffs, see who the champion is, and then get the offseason going. Ja Morant is your West MVP, Donovan Mitchell East MVP, and your champion of the 2023 playoffs is the Cavs with Donovan Mitchell as your finals MVP. Okay, let's see what ends up happening in this 2023 draft. I would hope for the first overall pick and get Wembanyama again. We have the first projected odds and 5 from Charlotte, which is protected this year though. I think the lowest I can drop is to 5, so let's see what happens. The Hornets pick ends up at 8, which was supposed to be my pick, but it was protected this year, I'm pretty sure. So the Magic gets 7. I'm also pretty sure it said 3 teams jumped into the top 5, so that does not look good for us to keep our first overall projected pick. And oh my god, we end up with the 5th pick. Worst record in the league gets us the 5th pick in the lottery. That is terrible. And the Raptors actually jump up to 1. So I should have traded for their first round pick this year. I traded for their first round pick like 3 years from now, thinking they'd be good after I traded them. Oh wait, I didn't trade them Jakob Poeltl. I traded to the Mavericks. So that's probably why the Raptors were so bad. I forgot to mention before too, Greg Popovich retired after 32 years in the league, so I am going to have to look for a new coach here. I'm going to give Logan Schmidt a contract offer here because it seems like he's pretty good, or he has pretty good ratings and he agrees to that. So let's get into the draft here. I honestly would probably pick any one available that's like the best, except for maybe a shooting guard, because I can move Keldon Johnson to the 3 or the 4 depending on if we pick up anyone else. So let's sim to our 5th pick and we'll see where everyone ended up. So Anthony Black actually went first, and the Raptors didn't take Wembanyama, which makes no sense because they need a center. Then the Pistons took Brandon Miller and the Thunder took Scoot. I think I'm going to take Gregory Jackson Jr. here with the 5th overall pick to be my next power forward of the future. Hopefully maybe be like a next Tim Duncan kind of guy. He has all NBA potential and pretty good ratings here. So that's who we're making with the 5th overall pick for the Spurs. Now we have, I believe, the 31st pick in the draft, and I think I'm going to take Keontae George here and see if he can become a future point guard for me somewhere in my rotation. So here's how the top 7 ended up turning out. Gregory Jackson was a 77 and Nick Smith ended up being 78, so maybe we should have went with him, but Gregory Jackson is a year younger, so maybe he has more time to progress. And Keontae George actually comes in as a 74, so that's really solid. Team player options, obviously Vassell is getting accepted. I am going to accept Bassey too and maybe sign him to a deal as my backup center. Unfortunately, Romeo Langford will not be getting the qualifying offer. I just don't see him having a spot in this team or even being a good trade piece in the future. And then Trey Jones, we will give the qualifying offer to. Okay, first day of free agency. I think I want to move on from Isaiah Roby as my power forward and get a guy who's somewhat young still and can be a really solid guy. Doesn't have to do too much offensively, like a guy named Jonathan Isaac, who the Orlando Magic do not want to bring back. I can honestly give him a pretty solid deal, maybe 11.5 for 4 years, backloaded, ending up at 13 mil. So we should agree to that, and it seems like he will. Then once we get out of moratorium, I'm also going to give Trey Jones a deal for 4 years, starting at 10 mil, ending off at 11.5 mil, and he agrees to that. So that will probably be all we do for this free agency. Before we move on, the Pacers will offer me a lottery protected first for Doug McDermott, who, like I said before, is a really good shooter. So they could be wanting to try to beef up their team a little bit and compete this next coming year with Tyrese and put some shooters around him. So we're going to do this deal in this 2023 offseason and move on to the player progression and see how our guys are looking. So Devin, everyone here is going up. Gregory Jackson is going down because I moved his position to center because I want to start him there for just 1 year and see how he does as like a kind of small ball lineup we run out here. So after this season, he'll probably be on the uptrend as well. So that doesn't really concern me too much. Let's into this second season and get the lineup ready. All right, so this is the lineup I put together. Trey Jones getting a lot more minutes this year. And honestly, all of my starters getting a lot more minutes compared to last year because now I have legitimate guys I want to see playing a lot of minutes and progressing. Then off the bench, my rookie Keontae George getting 22 a night. Charles Bassey with 19, Jeremy Sohan with 19, and Malachi Branham with 17. Also, Blake Wesley will be running backup point guard, getting 17 as well. So let's simulate probably this whole season and see where we're at. Season is about to wrap up. We got one more game left to get against the Pelicans. We're 30-51 this year, so quite a bit better than last year. And we end up 30-52. Luka averages a 33-point triple-double for MVP. Wembanyama, Rookie of the Year on the Pelicans, which is definitely going to be hard to beat this video. Jaden Ivey, 6-man. Giannis Depoy, Maxey, Most Improved, and there's your Coach of the Year. Here's All-NBA first with LaMelo already making it on there, which is crazy. Here's All-NBA second. John Morant gets on there. All-NBA third with Cade making an appearance now. Here's All-Defensive first, All-Defensive second, and oh wait, we get Isaac on All-Defensive second, so at least we got a guy on one of these teams. And then for All-Rookie teams, do we see our guy? We do. Gregory Jackson makes it on All-Rookie second, and Keontae George as a 6-man actually makes it there too. So yeah, we obviously did not make the play-in. Our record was just really bad. Let's see where we were in terms of the whole league. So we were the 3rd worst team in the West and the 4th worst team overall in the league. Yeah, here's the stats for the year. Keldon Johnson staying very consistent, but his 3-point shooting is much better. Devin Vassell slowly starting to get more points per game and improving his efficiency by a lot, so that's really good to see. Gregory Jackson's rookie season looks very solid in my eyes. 1 steal, 1 block, putting up a good amount of points and rebounds, shooting well. Keontae George didn't shoot well from 3, but overall I'd say he had a pretty decent rookie season. Malachi Branham starting to improve a lot with his shooting efficiency as well, so love to see that. Jeremy Sohan not really improving much. He's only 20 years old though, so I'll probably give him a couple more years and see what he can do. Trey Jones improves insanely in his 3-point shooting after I sign him to an extension though, so like to see that. Blake Wesley drops significantly though from his last season. He's 21 though, so maybe I'll give him 1 or 2 more years and see if he can figure it out. Jonathan Isaac shooting very bad, but he is playing very good defense for me, so I'll honestly take it. And Charles Bassey came in and shot pretty well. I might take away his 3-point tendency because 2K has him as a D rating and they're having him shoot threes, which doesn't really make sense. Then that was it for all of our guys. So let's sim these 2024 playoffs and see who will win. The 8th seed Lakers upset the 1 seed Pelicans in the first round. I don't know if anyone saw that. Here's your West and East Finals MVPs, and then the champions of the 2024 season is the Grizzlies with Ja as your Finals MVP. But yeah, if you look up here, the Pelicans were the 1 seed. They got swept by the 8th-seeded Lakers. That is crazy. Okay, draft lottery. Let's see what our odds are looking like this year. So we could have the 4th overall pick from us. The 6th pick from Indiana is lottery protected, so it'd be next year. And that 13th pick from Charlotte would be ours this season. So let's skip the results. And we end up with, oh my God, our pick dropped to 7. And the Charlotte pick stayed at 13. And then the Indiana Pacers pick jumped up to 4. So 2 years in a row with bad lottery luck. So I'm probably just going to make my selections at 5 or at 7 and 13, I'm pretty sure. Here's the summary so far. So we have Ron Holland, Buzelis, Isaiah Collier, Justin Edwards, Omaha Bailu, and Xavier Booker going so far. I still need a point guard for the future, and Bronny James seems like he has a Hall of Fame ceiling, and he has pretty good ratings, at least in terms of 3-point scoring, defense, and playmaking, and he could be a potential good perimeter defender if he develops there. So I'm honestly going to take a flyer on him here and hope he turns out well for me. Then with my 13th overall pick, I'm going to pick up Kwame Evans to potentially be a Jonathan Isaac replacement in the future, and I do not care for my 2nd round pick, so we'll see who my assistant GM picks up. So Bronny James comes in as a 73, which is not good compared to everyone else that's up here, but if we look down here, he's actually not too low. Kwame Evans comes in as a 76, so higher than him. I got this guy in the 2nd round, a 7-footer, stretch 5. I guess I'll retain his rights. And then Adama Ball, I'm going to decline. Team player options, everyone here is getting accepted except for obviously Davis Bertans. Then qualifying offers, I am going to give it to both Devin Vassell and Charles Bassey. I'm going to give Devin Vassell a 5-year bird deal starting at 27 mil and ending off at 35 when he's 28 years old. I feel like he's a really solid player for him and he keeps progressing. So I want to lock him in for the future, and he will agree to that. I couldn't see Charles Bassey in a free agency, so I'm hoping it just automatically makes him come back on the qualifying offer, and it does, so we get him back. Let's look at player progression here. A lot of green, no red this time. Love to see that. Everyone here is looking very good, so let's sim to this next season and get the lineup ready, and hopefully we can finally make a play-in spot to be able to sign a star next off season, because otherwise I don't think it would be that realistic for a star to want to sign to a team that's not really competing at all. Here's what the lineup's gonna look like for this 3rd year. I'm again kind of allocating the minutes across a lot of players because I still want to see like which one of these young guys can be my players that I can trust for the future. Blake Wesley is just gonna fall out of the rotation, even though he has kind of decent grades. I feel like now that I have Bronny James, I could just use him and maybe Trey Jones for the future. But another potential thing I would do is just let Blake Wesley progress off the bench for 1 more year, and then after this offseason trade Trey Jones and put Bronny James into that starting spot, and then have Blake Wesley come in as a backup. So yeah, we'll see how that works out after. I don't feel like I'm going to make a trade this offseason though, so let's sim to the end of the season, or sorry, this trade deadline. So let's sim to the end of the season and see what's happening. So far we're a 500 team. Season is about to wrap up. We go 36 and 45, 1 game left against the Heat. Oh, I actually didn't simulate with Simcast, so let's simulate this game and we win. So we went 36 and 35. Luka 3-time in a row MVP, Isaiah Collier Rookie of the Year, Harden 6-man now in Philly, Wemby Depoy and most improved, and then Steven Silas is the coach of the year. Here's All NBA first, All NBA second, and All NBA third. 2 Pistons on there. Here's All Defensive first, All Defensive second. We still get Jonathan Isaac on there. And we get Bronny James on All Rookie first team, and then we get Kwame Evans on second team. So that is great to see. And we make a play-in spot. So that is good enough for me to see how a star player would potentially sign here after they realize that we have a very good young core and just need maybe 1 or 2 more guys to put us over the top. Keldon Johnson still being very consistent with his shooting and stats overall. Devin Vassell, points per game go down a little bit, but we got more guys here who need to get the ball. Gregory Jackson kind of had a down year after his rookie season, but he should bounce back. Bronny James actually was playing way better than Trey Jones at the trade deadline, so I brought Trey Jones out of the starting lineup and put Bronny James in, and yeah, he just had a great season. His overall is not equal to how good of a player he is. Here's Keontae George, also had a solid second season. Here's Kwame Evans, who had a great rookie season, shot 40 from 3 and just really well overall. Malachi Branham, I don't know if I'm gonna bring him back. He might be a potential trade piece just because he's just like really up and down in his shooting. Here's Trey Jones. Yeah, just a terrible season. I'm probably gonna trade him this offseason to a team. Like maybe he just needs a different scenery. Jonathan Isaac had an insane year, shooting 40% from three almost, pretty efficient overall, and putting up a steal and a block and a half. Here's Charles Bassey's numbers. I forgot to take away his three-point shot tendency till halfway through the year. So one more year and he should be a lot more solid than that. And yeah, Jeremy Sohan, also a guy I'm probably just gonna move on from because his shooting just hasn't worked out. And then Blake Wesley, I might give one more chance after I trade Trey Jones, like I said. So we'll see how that works out. Let's see how this play-in game goes here. The Lakers still have LeBron and AD, but they also added Jaylen Brown, and they're somehow 9 seed. So I feel very not confident with winning this game. And we win the game. So wow, we take LeBron, Jaylen Brown, and Anthony Davis out of the playoffs as the 10 seed. That is crazy. So here we got to win this game too to get in the playoffs though against OKC. Let's see who they have. They've got Shea and Giddey still, who are 89 or 94 and 89, and then they have Chet still, who's an 86. So I wasn't confident about the last one and I won. So let's see how this one works out, and we lose. So that makes more sense. I still feel like we're in prime position though to bring in a star player. So let's see how these playoffs work out here, and then we'll figure that out. John Morant, West MVP, Garland, East MVP. I'm pretty sure this was the finals last year as well. And the Grizzlies, I'm pretty sure, win again with Ja as your finals MVP. I have acquired quite a bit of draft capital throughout this video so far. Let's see if anything will pan out for us. So far, it just looks like we have our pick at 11 and nothing else that will be in the lottery. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, we have the 11th pick in the lottery with 17 from Chicago, and then 24 from Indiana and 28 from Atlanta. So maybe I could trade all those to get into the lottery. I see the Pelicans there at 6. I don't think they would need another like crazy guy there though. So the Raptors would trade me 2 first-round picks for Trey Jones. Right now, they do not have a backup point guard, so this could be a good move to get a solid guy and still compete with, well, they signed Kristaps Porzingis, so they bring back Scotty Barnes back. They still got to bring back OG, and they still have Fred and Precious there, and that could be like a pretty good competitive team in the East. So we're gonna do this trade to get off of Trey Jones, and they agree. Then I'm gonna trade my 3 mid to late first round picks to the Lakers for 2 first round picks as well that are both protected. So we're going to do that just because I don't need a lot more young guys this offseason. And I'm just going to pick the best available guy at, I believe, yeah, pick 11. So to me, it seems like VJ Miller is the best guy. He has Michael Jordan potential and he has really good grades. So we're going to take him at pick 11. Here's what the top 7 looked like if you want to just stop and take a look if you're interested in any of these guys. And VJ Miller comes in as a 75. And then these are a bunch of second round guys who I'm just not going to pick up. Everyone here is getting the team player option. And then only Keontae George and Charles Bassey will be getting qualifying offers. So although Isaac played really well for me last year, I need to free up space to be able to sign a star this free agency. And the Thunder were a 7 seed last year, I'm pretty sure. So they could be using their draft capital they saved up to get a guy to help them start competing now that they have young guys to build with. So we're going to do this to get rid of John Isaac. Then we're going to send Jeremy Sochan to the Rockets for 2 future first round picks. They could potentially just see Jeremy Sohan as a really good prospect. He's only 22 years old, and he's shown decent flashes of stuff, but he hasn't really panned out with his shooting overall. So maybe they think they can make him work nicely around what they have, and we're going to do this. Actually, I feel like 2 unprotected first is too much, so we're just going to do 1 unprotected first, and we do that with the Rockets. So Giannis does not have a deal from the Bucks, which means he is open for anyone to pick him up. We're going to give him as much as we can give him, player option, no trade clause. Oh wait, it won't let me sign up for that. So we'll do that. Jaylen Brown has left Tatum alone in Boston, and they're starting to be on the decline. So I'm also going to give Tatum as much as I can offer him, player option, no trade clause. And then lastly, I'm going to see if I can get LeBron here for 1 year. Even if it doesn't work out, like at least after this year, I'll still have money to pick up a new max guy. So we'll see if one of these 3 guys agree to that. And Giannis and LeBron agree. I have to get rid of Keontae George though if I accept this. I'm gonna try to trade Malachi Branham away for 2 future firsts from the Magic instead. He's a pretty highly valued still young guy the Magic could use, and they're starting to be a pretty good team now. They signed Lonzo Ball, and they still have good guys to progress with. So we'll see if they agree to that, and they do. So we should be able to keep Keontae George now. Not Charles Bassey though, but I'm okay with that. So yeah, Tatum goes to the Cavs, and we should be signing Giannis in free agency here. And we do sign Giannis, so that is insane. So all I need now to fill out my rotation is a backup power forward center. Tatum actually didn't end up going to the Cavs, so he probably will end up going back to the Celtics or one of these teams here. I can't sign Keontae George because it just won't let me find him. So I'm going to sim to the end of free agency and hope I can get him back, and then have to pick up another guy in free agency as a backup center after this period here is already done. So let's hope we get Keontae George back on the qualifying. If not, that would suck. And we do, so that is great to see. So here's player progression. We have guys staying the same or other guys going up, which is obviously what you want to see. Let's sim to the next season, see if we can find a guy to be backup center in the free agency pool, and then get the lineup ready. Here's what the rotation is going to look like in what I believe is our 4th season. Bronny James starting point guard, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Gregory Jackson at the 4 now, with Giannis at the 5 being a 97 overall. Then we have Keontae George 6-man with Kwame Evans, VJ Miller, my rookie, Blake Wesley back in the rotation, and Felix Opala. I feel like this year or even next year could definitely be seasons we compete for a championship. So let's see how it goes. Season is about to wrap up. We are a 50-win team going 51-30 with 1 more game left against the Mavs, and we win. Here's Wembanyama, most valuable player. This guy, rookie of the year. Scoot 6-man in OKC. So I don't know why they're not starting him and putting Shea at the 2 or something. Giannis, defensive player of the year. Love to see that. Terrence Shannon Jr., most improved. And Willie Green, coach of the year. So I think the Pelicans went 69-13. Here's All-NBA first. Unfortunately, no Giannis there. All-NBA second, we do get Giannis on there. And All-NBA third. Here's your all-defensive first team with Giannis on there. All-defensive second. And then I don't think we would have any rookies, which we do not. And we end up as a 4 seed going against OKC, so not too bad. Player stats on the season, Giannis led the way. He had a significant drop, but he's playing with a lot of guys who get good amount of shots up on good efficiency, so I'm not mad about it. Here's Gregory Jackson, has a huge jump in his points per game and his efficiency, so putting him at the 4 was definitely a good thing to do. Keldon Johnson, still a really solid player. Devin Vassell, points per game go down a bit, but his efficiency is way up like crazy, so I'm okay with it. Bronny James had honestly a much better season. 10 assists per game, averaged a double-double in his 2nd season, shooting crazy efficiently well. Kwame Evans also has another really good year, improving slowly, but just as we need it. Here's Keontae George, also slowly improving, but improving as we need him to. And VJ Miller came in as a rookie, shot well, played pretty solid for me in the minutes he got. And Blake Wesley came and finally had another really good season. So let's hope he will be my backup point guard for the future. And this guy, Felix Opala, came in and played pretty solid for me as a backup guy. So game 1 against OKC, we know they have Scoot coming off the bench. Let's see who else they have. They still have Shea Giddey. They have Omaha Bailu 81. John Isaac, who I traded them, starting at the 4. And then Chet with an 88 at the 5. So let's see how this goes for us. Game 1, we win. Game 2, we lose. Game 3, we win. Game 4, we lose. Game 5, we win. Game 6, we lose. Game 7, we lose. So out in the first round with Giannis, pretty unfortunate, but that's just how it happens sometimes. Sometimes you go to 7 games and it just doesn't work out for you. I feel like I said, one more year, Jabari Smith and the Rockets actually win the finals there. One more year, one more offseason for these guys to develop, and we will be on our way. So I just went into the draft lottery, and we could have potentially 3 top 5 picks and another pick at 13 and another pick at 7. So all these trades I made just ended up working out. Let's see what happens. We end up with 5, 7, 8, and 13. So pretty much every single one of them drop, which kind of sucks, but those could be really good trade pieces. So I am in complete win mode now that we have Giannis on the team. I'm going to try to trade picks 5 and 7 to the Nuggets for Şengün to be my backup center behind Giannis and a future first round pick. and they agree to that. So that is a huge upgrade for this offseason. The Nuggets are also offering to, so I would give them pick 8 for pick 7 and then give them pick 13 for pick 16. They're probably trying to do kind of a rebuild now. So I'm going to do this deal with them just to get a bit higher in the draft at the top of it, because I want more of a better player to come in that's ready for me to play right now. And they agree to that. So let's see who we can get here with this 7th overall pick. I see Bryce James here, and he has Hall of Fame potential and pretty good stats in the game. So honestly, I'm just going to pick him up so him and Bronny will be on the same team, which is a pretty cool thing. And then with my 13th pick or 16th pick, I'm going to pick up Isaiah Harwell. So Bryce James comes in as a 75, Isaiah Harwell 74, and then these guys my assistant GM picked up. I'm probably just going to decline them both. Team player options, everyone here getting accepted. Qualifying offers will be going to Blake Wesley and Keontae George again. So I'm going to try to get Keontae George on a bird deal for 5 years, starting at 23.5 mil and ending at 31. Right now, he's a bench guy for me. So what I'm thinking is maybe in a couple years, if our cap situation is bad, I could use him to trade for like a better piece to a team that's rebuilding with a guy that's already good. So we're going to give him that deal and hope he agrees to it. Then Blake Wesley, I'm going to offer 8 mil for 4 years back, ending off at 9. And they both agree. So player progression is looking insanely well. Like I love to see all this every single year. Let's sim this off season here and get to this 5th season, I believe, which is 2026-27. And hopefully it's finally time we win a chip. Here's what the rotation is looking like for this 5th season. Pretty much the same starting 5 as last year. Actually, exactly the same starting 5. But now we have Şengün as a 6th man with Kwame Evans still, Keontae George, VJ Miller, and Blake Wesley. This team honestly looks really good to me. Like, we have our one insane stud in Giannis, and then around him we have a bunch of like pretty good to really good role guys. We have a 4.5 star system proficiency now as well, so hopefully this will be the year that we can go over the top. Let's see what happens. So far it's a lot of W's. Season is about to wrap. We're 55-26 with one more game left against the Hawks, and we win it, so we go 56-26, quite a bit better than last year. Ja gets MVP this time. Cameron Boozer Rookie of the Year. Scoot still a 6th man in OKC. Evan Mobley on the Cavs gets Depoy. Ian Jackson Most Improved, and Willie Green Coach of the Year. Here's All-NBA first team, All-NBA second team, no Giannis there. All-NBA third team with Giannis there, and All Defensive first. No Giannis again, but he does get second team. And then we should not have any rookies, I don't believe. So we end up this year as a 3 seed, so 1 seed better than last year. Here's the stats on the season. I'm surprised Giannis is not putting up more points. Like, I know everyone else is shooting a lot, but I still thought he would be the one putting up the most amount of points. Bronny James has a huge jump this year. 13 points to 18 points. So putting up an 18-point double-double with 11 assists and 2 steals, shooting almost 50-40-90. Absolutely insane. Keldon Johnson still playing very solid for me. Gregory Jackson, points go down a bit as well, but he's still shooting very efficiently and playing good defense. Devin Vassell's shot points per game have also gone down a lot too, but he is still shooting crazy efficiently. Here's Kwame Evans, still playing really good in his role. Here's Keontae George, now a 40% three-point shooter. So after I give him that deal, it is looking like it's panning out for me. Şengün came in and played really solid. I took away his three-point tendency because if we look over here, he has a D+ three-point rating, so I really don't know why he would be shooting threes. Here's VJ Miller's stats, shooting 45 from 3 now, so absolutely insane. And then Blake Wesley still playing really solid for me. Round 1 against the Mavericks. Do they still have Luka on their team? And they do. So Luka is their 97 overall, but we have Giannis at a 98. However, they do have a 91 Jabari Smith in their lineup with Jalen Suggs 85, 81 Dylan Brooks, and 84 Christian Wood. So hopefully we can make it out of the first round this year. Game 1, we win. Game 2, we lose. Game 3, we lose. Okay, so now I am going to just let 2K do its thing with this rotation. I'm going to not do that. I'm going to put the bench utilization down to 0, but still run a 10-man. So 2K is just going to play the guys here that it thinks should be playing in the starting lineup. Game 4, I believe, we win. Game 5, we win. Game 6, we lose. So another first round game 7. Let's adjust this rotation again and get the guys who we want playing a lot of minutes. So game 7 against the Mavericks, another first round game 7. We win, so we make it out of there. Now we have OKC, who is the 2 seed, that still has Shea and Giddey. They have Miles Turner at the 5 now, so I think they lost Chet somehow. They have Omaha Bailu 83 and Jalen Williams 82. So I feel pretty confident here. Game 1, and I say that and we lose. Game 2, we lose again. Oh my god. So Blake Wesley is playing absolutely atrocious. I'm just gonna take his minutes away completely and have 2K allocate them through my other guys. Game 3, can we make a comeback? We win game 3. Game 4, we lose. Game 5, we win. Game 6, we win. So we're making a comeback. We bring it to game 7. Simulate with Simcast. Game 7 against the OKC Thunder in the second round of the Western Conference Finals. So far, it's pretty back and forth. They're slowly starting to run away with it, though. Can we make a comeback in the second half? They're only up 9. In the third, we're coming back. We're up now going into the fourth. It's a back and forth game. If it's close with a minute left, I'll jump in. It's really back and forth. Like, literally, the score is going back and forth. They're up, like, 4. We come back. We're up 2. Tie game. We're up 2 with a minute 30. They're up 1 with 52 seconds left. Let's jump in. Okay, so we have the ball here, and we're in the bonus. Şengün is going to inbound it into Bronny James. Bronny gives it into Giannis, but they get a steal. So that is not good. We need to get a stop here. Bailu's open. He drives in, and he gets the layup. So the Thunder are up 3 now with 38 seconds to go. Giannis taking the ball up the court, trying to drive around Miles Turner. He doesn't really do it. He gives it into Bronny James, out to Şengün. And they steal it again. Oh my god. What kind of end of game possession is that? They throw the ball away twice to the Thunder, who get 2 steals. I guess they just couldn't handle the pressure. I'm still going to watch here to see if something crazy happens. So yeah, we were not able to come back, and we get eliminated in 7 in the second round in this 5th season. I hate ending these on L's, so I kind of want to go a bit more and see if we can make a comeback, or not even comeback, if just we can keep progressing as the Pelicans win the finals with Wemby as your finals MVP. Oh my god, I just skipped the lottery results, and we ended up with the first overall pick from the Lakers, and we have 5 from Denver, 15 from Toronto, 17 from Sacramento, 20 from Orlando, 23 from Dallas, and 24 from Atlanta, plus our own pick at 23. So let me see what I get offered up for some of these picks here. We literally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 first round picks this year. So let's see what pick 1 would get me. I'm not getting any offers for players, unfortunately. I'm just gonna trade some of these later first to get higher up in the lottery and then get future first picks back. Okay, so let's enter the draft here and see if now anyone will offer me something for this first overall pick. Still not getting any players, so I'm just gonna have to make my selections here. So this James Rodgers guy looks like an absolute stud. He's projected 1 almost all the way across the board, and he's 18 years old. He has Dwayne Wade potential and really good grades, but I kind of would like to get a center here, like this Jerry Patton guy, because I'd like to put Giannis at the 4. He has all-star potential though, and I feel like this would be a smarter person to take with the first overall pick. So we're going to take James Rodgers here. So the Wizards took Jerry Patton. I'm going to see if I can trade my 5th pick and future first to take him from them. I don't know why he's not showing up their roster, which is really weird. So unfortunately, I'm just going to have to make my selections here too. So James Rodgers comes in as an 81. I picked up Daryl Marshall, who's a 73, and then Ryan Knox, who's a 74, and then these guys I don't really care about. Team player options, all 3 of these guys getting accepted. Gregory Jackson getting the qualifying offer. So Keldon Johnson is a free agent. He's a really solid player. I might sign him to like a huge deal and then use him in a trade to get another max guy. So I'm gonna sign him on a 4-year back deal starting at 31 mil, ending at 35, and actually put a team option on that so it's more trade friendly, and he is gonna agree to that right away. Then I'm gonna get Gregory Jackson Jr. back starting at 31, ending at 40 mil on a bird deal off his rookie contract, and actually says I can't do that. I can't even sign him at all. So I'm gonna have to get him back on the qualifying. All right, I'm gonna be doing something crazy here. I'm gonna trade Şengün, Keldon Johnson, and a future first for Robert Williams and OG Anunoby from the Celtics. I feel like this makes our center position a lot better. I can bring Giannis back to the 4, and to me this just makes our team better overall. So let's sim through these free agency days and hope we get Gregory Jackson on the qualifying offer. I'll be very disappointed if we don't, because he's like, although his overall is not high, he's a very big part of this team. He was one of the main guys I originally drafted, and he shoots the ball really well and plays really well overall in general. So let's see if it works out. And we don't get him back. So we lose Gregory Jackson in free agency. All right, here's player progression. I think this is going to be the last season whether we win or lose, because we just lost Gregory Jackson. Although we still do have a really good team, it still looks really nice. Let's sim this next season. I'm going to have to pick up a backup center in free agency after we sim this. So we'll see who I get there. Okay, so this is what the lineup's looking like for this last season. We have Bronny now up to an 88. Devin Vassell still in there at an 86, 27 a night. Kwame Evans sliding in there now that Keldon Johnson's gone with 27 as well. Giannis getting 37. Robert Williams, my new starting center, getting 28. Then we have OG off the bench, who's going to be my backup small forward, but also my backup center, because he has an A- post defense rating. And I'd rather play him instead of Kenny Lofton Jr., who I signed in free agency. So we're going to do that. VJ Miller getting a lot of minutes there with Keontae George, and then my first overall pick, James Rodgers, will be playing backup point guard for me. So let's sim this season. First, are we at 5-star system proficiency yet or not? We are not. It actually went down to 4 stars, so that's not the best, but let's sim this last season. Hopefully this can be it. I feel like this team is really good. So far, the record's looking really good. We'll see what happens. We have 1 game left against the Thunder this season, and so far we're 67-14. So we lose Gregory Jackson, but it's not the end of the world, because we bring in other guys who can make our team go over the top. Last game against OKC, we win. So we win 68 wins on the season, as Scoot Henderson, being the 6th man this whole video, all of a sudden is MVP of the league. Jerry Patton, who I want to trade for, is Rookie of the Year. Amen Thompson, 6th man. Giannis, Depoy, VJ Miller, most improved. Love to see that. And yeah, Logan Schmidt, Coach of the Year. So we get 3 awards here. Here's All-NBA first team with Giannis back on there. All-NBA second, none of our guys. And All-NBA third, none of our guys. All-defensive first, obviously Giannis is there. No one on All-defensive second. And we should not have it. Oh, actually, we do get James Rodgers on All-Rookie first, who played pretty solid coming in as my backup point guard. Here's the player stats for the last season. Bronny gets up to 22 a night, putting up 22, 5, and 10, shooting 54, 46, and putting up a steal and a half. Giannis back up to 21 points a game, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, so almost putting up a triple-double with a steal and a block. Kwame Evans, insane jump in his shooting coming into the starting lineup. Love to see that. VJ Miller, we saw his most improved player stats. Devin Vassell still playing really great for me, like 15 points a night, 3 rebounds, 5 assists with a steal, shooting efficiently. I'll take it. Keontae George gets a pretty big jump in his points per game as well now that there's more minutes allocation. OG had a really bad year, maybe because I had him at the center spot, so I might have to adjust his 3-point tendency or something. Let's see what his grade is at actually. He has an A 3-point shot, so he shouldn't be shooting that bad. Hopefully it gets better in the playoffs. We saw Rodgers' stats. Rob Will came in 6.7 rebounds, putting up a block and a half, shooting very efficiently. And yeah, these other guys down here unfortunately did not get any playing time for me this video. Well, Blake Wesley could even slide in if I don't want to give James Rodgers minutes, but we'll see what happens there. So who do we get from the play-in? We get the Houston Rockets, who have Jalen Green still, an 87 Ian Jackson, Miles Bridges, and DeAndre Ayton now at the 5. That's an 89 overall. Game 1, we win. Game 2, we win. Game 3, we lose. Game 4, we lose. Okay, I gotta adjust this rotation because I don't want to get cheesed right now. Game 5. Oh my god, dude. Okay, I'm gonna bring this down to 8 and bring the bench utilization down to 0, because if I lose in the first round right now after winning 68 games, I think actually, to the 8 seed Houston Rockets, that would be ridiculous. Game 7, we win, so we get out of there. Second round against OKC, who have 94 Scoot, 93 Giddey, 85 Omaha, 80 Azad Noel, and 89 Chet. Kind of a scary team, but I feel like we can handle them. Game 1, we win. Game 2, we win. Game 3, we win. Game 4, we lose. Game 5, we lose. Game 6, we win. So we get out of there. We're in the conference finals now. Let's see who the Pelicans have on their team. If they still have Zion. They do. They have 87 DJ Wagner, 85 Terrence Shannon, 81 Jiang, and then 96 Zion, and 99 Wembanyama. So that is an insane squad. But as you see on the right, we have a really good team as well. I feel like we match up pretty nicely against them. So let's see what happens here. Game 1, we win. Game 2, we win. Game 3, we lose. Game 4, we win. Game 5, we win. So we make it to the finals. Your East Finals MVP is Paulo, and your West Finals MVP is Giannis. Can we beat the Magic in the finals here? They have an 88 DeJounte Murray, 91 Nick Smith, 89 Franz Wagner, 92 Banchero, and 87 Jarrett Allen. So their team looks really good at this point, honestly. But we have the bigger 90, the bigger stud with Giannis there. So let's hope it works out for us. Game 1, we win. Game 2, we lose. Game 3, we win. Game 4, we win. Game 5, we lose. Game 6, we win. So we get the Spurs a championship. Giannis is your finals MVP, putting up 26, 13, and 10 with 2 blocks, shooting 55 from the field and 40 from 3. So he showed up when he had to. And your Spurs are your 2028 NBA champions. Here's what the final roster looked like one last time. Honestly, a really good team I feel like I put together here. It was unfortunate we lost Gregory Jackson, but he was only like an 83 overall this offseason. Maybe he would have got to like an 85 or 86, but this guy down here, Rogers and Wesley, were barely even in the rotation. So maybe he wasn't even going to get that many minutes, and it wasn't that significant of a loss. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Comment down below what you thought of anything that happened in it. Hope everyone's doing well and everyone has a good new year. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.